Well, thank you for joining us this morning. We're glad you're here to talk about putting our signs on the line. We want to talk about the integration between SignOps and ArcGIS Online. What I plan to do today is give an overview of SignOps, what it is, a little bit more about it, and then touch briefly on ArcGIS Online. Many of you may be already familiar with that, and then show a little bit on an example of how those two currently can work together. So first of all, SignOps is a sign inventory management software. We have had SignOps in place. We've been almost 10 years now. In 2014, we found that our clients had a real need to come up with a more streamlined way to maintain their sign inventory. There were other options out there at that time, database options. People would have their laptop in the field. They would update their sign inventory, but often they were finding that the time to update their database and update their sign inventory electronically was actually taking longer than it took to just repair the sign. That's when we stepped in. We said, hey, we need a better solution for this. And we want something that is GIS based, can be easily, bring the location intelligence to that. So we really focused on maintaining your sign inventory when developing SignOps. So it's a web-based sign inventory software. It's really a risk management tool. And what I mean by that is we have had several clients who have been able to avoid heavy litigation scenarios because they were proving to folks that they were accurately and adequately maintaining their sign inventory. In the case of a stop sign being down, and if there was a fatality in that situation, one of the big questions is going to be, what does this agency have for maintaining their sign inventories? And fortunately for one of our customers, they were able to avoid a very, very heavy litigation suit because they had an accurate way and a thorough way and a documented way of maintaining their sign inventory. So definitely it's a risk management tool, reducing liability, and very affordable. As we mentioned here, it's at an affordable cost. It also incorporates barcodes. So we use a manufacturer called Metalcraft. They provide us with aluminized barcodes, adhesive on the back. Those stick on the back of the bar of the sign panel. Very durable, very hard to get off. But the beauty is that they help streamline this process of scanning a sign, a barcode, and updating the inventory. It is designed, as I mentioned, a sign maintenance solution that really highlights what SignOps is for. It is user-friendly. That's a very important matter that we wanted to make sure in coming up with this solution, how you can easily see the signs represented in tabular format, as you see here on the left. What's nice is you see the assembly ID on the left-hand side of that table. You can easily, quickly have a snapshot of which signs are on that post. You don't have to just, like on the map, you just see a single sign. That's the top sign, the first one on the post. But in the tabular format, you can see them easily listed out there, which is helpful. So user-friendliness is very important. Okay, ArcGIS Online. Some of you may be familiar with this. We do a lot of ArcGIS Online support for our customers. And with SignOps being a standalone program, the question often arose, can I get my SignOps sign inventory data into ArcGIS, and how can I get that updated regularly? How can I easily work back and forth between the two? So we came up with, about a year ago, we came up with a solution to integrate these two. And that's what I really wanted to show you today on how that works. So we'll jump into demonstration part here. I'm going to jump out of this and jump into the SignOps application. So what we have here is the home screen. And basically with SignOps, we wanted to really design this application to kind of flow in order of what the sign maintenance workflows might be. So we start off with in the sign shop. And as you saw on that previous page, we keep our updates current. I'll just go back there for 1 second. We do have some updates we're currently working on, and we're constantly looking at these updates for SignOps. The ones we're currently working at, one is user management, helping streamline how people can manage their users within an organization. If somebody leaves or somebody new comes on, really kind of streamline that process. And then also simple things with user management, like the password resets and things like that. So those are some of the back end items we're working on for upgrades currently. But moving into the sign shop, we make it very streamlined with the first stage is entering your purchases. So of course you have to either purchase your signs from somewhere or you make them. And that is really what starts off the lifespan and tracking the life of that sign. So here we've got a list of suppliers, and these drop-down lists are all very easily controlled by the user. You can define these however you'd like. And we'll just purchase a couple yield signs if I don't know what the code is, or I need to look up the signs. I have regulatory, warning, all the categories here. I can reference those very easily in browsing the sign types. I can also have a drop down, a user-defined drop down of dimensions for those signs. Then I can specify what sheeting that is. And we'll say for these, we'll say diamond grade. I'm going to go ahead and let's do a stop sign on these. And we'll say those stop signs are diamond grade. Let's make them 36. No need for sign text on that since it's a standard sign. Let's say they were manufactured on the 1st. And I got those from Sign Creations, we'll say. And let's pick that we got 4, quantity of 4. And I'm going to save that. And you'll see the signs have been entered and updated. And we'll go back and see. And we should have those now listed in signs which don't have a barcode associated with those yet. And you can see those down here from ABC Signs that I just created. It's got today's date. I purchased 4 of them, but I haven't used any of them yet, meaning I haven't put a barcode on any of those. So that's the next step in the process. Let's assign some barcodes, and let's just pick the group that I just entered in purchases. And it's very simple. I don't have a barcode scanner connected to my PC right now with this one, but they do make little handheld Bluetooth scanners. They're very affordable. You just plug those into your PC, and those can easily scan multiple signs very quickly. That's typically what we recommend for folks. You can also use the mobile device camera, but if you're doing multiple signs, it's really quick to use some type of barcode scanner. So I'm just going to plug in a tag ID there for now. We'll hit save, and you'll see I successfully tagged that, and I'm going to copy that so I can use it later. And I have 3 remaining if I want to tag the rest of those stop signs, which it's nice. I can tag them. The idea is I stick a barcode on them, I put them in a shelf, and then they're ready to be used. So that's generally the main workflow there for signs in the shop. I could sell signs if the case of, like, say, if in some scenarios, a county highway or transportation agency might sell signs to their townships or other agencies, they can do that. And we can see what signs we have in stock. And this is easy to kind of look up. We can also look up by tag ID. There's the one that I just entered into the system. And I can see any signs that I have in stock. And this is also going to help me know when I need to reorder as well. And we can also get to that same information into the reports menu, which I'll show you in a minute. There's also a workflow for auditing your signs in stock. We had a situation where an organization, their sign shed got hit by a tornado, I believe it was, and they kind of lost a lot of signs. They needed to kind of regroup and figure out what they had. So they did an audit. I was also able to help them identify how many signs did they lose, what did it cost them for insurance purposes. So there could be a lot of value in doing a sign audit there. Next, we're going to in the field. Again, we start out in the sign shop, then we go to the field. Nearest is probably our main, most popular functionality there. I don't have any signs right near me here, but if I go and zoom in over here, I know I have some over in Roanoke. We got some signs set up there, and I can see as I navigate on the map, I can see it populate my table underneath here. And the same thing if I was out here, if I had a mobile device, and I was looking at this on the mobile device, my GPS location would automatically update with that. And I can do start auto location where it'll just stream and follow me. In this case, let's go ahead and create a new assembly. So let's create one right here on this corner. I'm going to create a new assembly, and it's a post. And let's say it's a tubular Telspar post, no bracing, but let's say I want to use Main Street. I've got that in my log here. It's one support. And let's say it's on the east side of the road. No comments. I'm going to hit save. And now it says, okay, add a sign. So I can either scan a sign with the barcode. I'm going to use the one I just put in this morning or when I purchased, or I could select one from my inventory, or I created brand new ones from scratch. In this case, let's do that one that we entered earlier. It already, it's going to automatically grab today as the install date, and that sign is facing south, and let's save it. Now I have my new sign that I just pulled from the shop on an assembly. I have that added to my sign inventory. I'm good to go. That's all there is to it. So, but what's important, as I mentioned, SignOps is a maintenance tool first and foremost. So we have maintenance records here that we can associate with the assembly or with the sign panel. I don't have any right now associated with assembly, but if we go to the sign panel, let's say edit, because again, this is my assembly down here. If I click edit on that sign, now I'm going into the sign panel itself, and I want to know information, sheeting, and all that good stuff. But you'll see here, I have a maintenance record that's automatically created for this sign. And this maintenance record says installation. It's got today's date. It automatically grabbed that. I don't need to populate that information that I installed it today. It's automatic. If for some reason I need to add a maintenance record, maybe I did some work on that sign, probably what I would do first is say, hey, this sign needs attention. I'm going to check this box right here, needs attention. And I'm just going to say post is broken. I'm going to save that. What that just did was that saved that sign as one that needs attention. So now as I select it, it's going to be flagged. If I select the sign down here, we'll see that that one's flagged, and it'll show up in my reports. And you'll also see this little exclamation mark up here that's saying, hey, wait, just so you know, this sign needs attention of some sort. Or I could say it's been shot, whatever the need is there. But then I'm going to go fix it. And let's say I fixed the post. I'm going to uncheck it. I'm going to save that, but I'm also going to add a maintenance. It's going to force me to specify what maintenance activity did you do? You just said it doesn't need attention anymore. What did you do? Well, I, sign, let's say I re-straightened or repaired. There we go. And I could just say fixed post on my comments. And now we will see that that has actually gone into my into my maintenance records. So a very easy way to keep track of that. And obviously we want that history of sign maintenance to be a part of that. So other things that we have under in the field options is we can see which signs need attention. Obviously, if I zoom in here, I'll see that my sign that I created is going to show up there, my stop sign, and that's one that's flagged as needs attention. And I can quickly jump to it there through the map, or I can find it down here in my table, and I can click on it here or click the edit symbol to get to that. So very clear way to identify signs that need attention. What about overdue? We need to know which signs are overdue because of their sheeting. For those of you who use Lifecycle as your designation on when to replace sign sheeting, when to replace a sign, this is very important. If I want to see any signs that are over the age of 10 years, then I can easily do that, and I can filter that here. So it's automatically picking what was 10 years ago. It was in 2014. And I want to see filter signs overdue. I can also sort by road name. But in this case, it's given all of them to me. But if I just typed in Main Street, see if we do have a few that are overdue on Main Street. And I can flag them all as updated or fixed. Gives me different options there. And what I can also do is download those as a report. But what should happen if I look at one of these, I should see a clock up here on that sign. It tells me this one needs attention and it's also overdue. And that's why it needs attention, because you've got it flagged as overdue. So all we got to do is specify what is our number of years that we want to use. In this case, I'm using 10 years. You could use 12 or some use 15. A lot of times that depends on the sheeting manufacturer. But the point is we can set that and specify that date, and that's what flags things as being overdue. So very useful feature there on the overdue signs. I also have the ability to just scan one. If somebody calls in the signs down to give me the tag ID, all I do is put it in there. It shows up right where it's supposed to be, and I can make sure that gets put back to its rightful place. Sign inspections are important. Let's just do an inspection along Main Street. And I can say I want signs facing each direction along Main Street. I'm traveling north, and I'm going to search. These are the signs that are on Main Street. Now, obviously, I'm not near Main Street right now, but if I was, it would be saying 100 feet away, how many feet away. And then as I drive down the road, this list is going to scroll because it's following my GPS location. So all I need to do is I'm just passing these as I go. And if I have one that's failed, I'll select fail. Otherwise, we can go along, select pass. Now we are working on a feature. Currently, we're working on a feature that will allow you to pass all of your signs on that road with one click. We're slowly getting that in place. We want to make sure our users are finding that beneficial. That is something we're working on for the program right now. So that's the inspect signs. And when I do that, let's go back to our sign that failed. If I click the edit and I go to my maintenance records, I see that this failed an inspection. It was a nighttime inspection and that failed. So that's important. We are automatically, when we pass fail, we're automatically adding a maintenance record. So that's the inspect signs tool there. These other ones are reserved features for us as admins. That kind of covers in the field. Reporting, you can see your signs in stock. This is what I was mentioning earlier. If I want to know how many HIP stop signs I have or 30 by 30, I've got 6 of them. This is a really helpful tool when I'm ready to order new signs for the year. If I want to maintain a minimum, in this case, if I wanted a minimum of 10 stop signs, I know that I need to order 4 more. So it's really helpful to have that functionality there. Signs in the field summary. How many all-way plaques do I have that are engineer grade? I've got 1 of them. So I know that that's something that's easy for me to be able to look up. If I want to find that individually, I could come here and I could say all-way. And I had one engineer grade. Sure enough, there it is. And I want to go to that one. I'm just going to click the edit one there. It tells me right where that's at. So there's my sign that I wanted to find and schedule for replacement that way. Other functions we have, a report showing needs attention. You've already kind of seen that. Same with overdue. A list of most recent maintenance records we have. What did we maintain, or what did we do for maintenance records this past week or past month? I can sort by date. It can show me the most recent entries. And then I kind of have a summary of activity of what I did recently for that. Retired signs, sold signs, I can grab those, reports, data extracts. If you want to download your signs, you can download those in Excel format, easily grab that information out of SignOps and be able to plug that into whatever other program you might need. So here's what that output looks like. I just exported all those signs from that particular client. And so that's it. The admin menu just allows us to control our drop downs. Let's say I want to update my manufacturer list. That's where I would do that here. I could also update my sign types. So obviously you're going to have a pretty large list here, but if I had a custom sign that's important to our agency, I could give it an MUTCD code. I can browse there. This might be one that has special text. Maybe it's a guide sign, or, I can put in special text there and say sign as text, and I can enter that, and then I can save that. I can also give it a list of dimensions. What are the standard dimensions for that sign that I might use? So suppliers, I mentioned that earlier. Customers, same way. If I was going to sell some signs. Jurisdiction, if I need to track my neighbor agency, I can make sure that I have that there as well. So that's important. If I want to track different agencies and different jurisdictions, I can also specify that on the assembly or on the sign in those locations. I can also control my maintenance types. So let's say I have a certain activity that I do frequently on these signs, and it's maybe it's unusual or it's specific to our agency, I can add a new maintenance type. That'll then show up in my drop-down menus there as well. So now I wanted to move over to ArcGIS Online, talk through that. So ArcGIS Online is a online cloud-based GIS application provided by Esri. You can have your own account. Many of you might have your own account already, but very popular among many of our customers using the ArcGIS platform. But how do we get data and utilize that from SignOps? I really want to see it in my GIS because that's my central point of viewing things. That's where everything else. What I wanted to show you today was a dashboard. This example is a highway department dashboard that shows you a snapshot on condition ratings, number of signs, how is my condition for my different assets. But it's got a page for each of my assets here, and we can reference those. We've got one for culverts, structures, but I also have one for signs. I wanted to pull that one up here. That's going to be our main focus for today. This data you're currently seeing in ArcGIS in this dashboard is pulling directly from the SignOps program that we just saw. Now, the important thing to note is it's doing this on a daily basis right now. There's a daily update that takes place, I believe, in the middle of the night. This is not something that is in real time necessarily, but most folks that we talk to, they didn't necessarily need real time when they make an update in SignOps to have it reflected. So these are current within the last day. I can search by assembly. So, if we just type in an assembly number, it'll filter our list there, and I can click on that sign if I know the ID, and it'll zoom right to that location in my ArcGIS Online dashboard here, and I can pull up information on that particular sign. I can also search by tag ID. So if I know what the tag ID is, I can just easily filter that. And let's click on one of our tag IDs, and there we see that it zooms into that sign. I can also just look at my signs that need attention. So if we clear that search and I say, hey, I just want to see signs that need attention. Right now, I'm doing pretty good. My agency only has 2 signs that need attention. And if I just happen to look at one of these, well, why does this need attention? If I click on this here, what I see here is I have the option to edit the sign, and I can go do that. And what this is going to do is going to take me directly to that sign within the SignOps program. That's very helpful. It's very useful to go directly into SignOps because this is what you might say is my authoritative source of my sign records. This here is just kind of my viewing portal, but I went to edit that sign and it took me straight to SignOps. But why does this need attention? I would probably want to look at my most recent maintenance records. Again, these are pulling directly from SignOps. I can see when it was last inspection. Oh, and here I go. This is why it needs attention. It failed a nighttime inspection, and it failed that, and it tells me, information on why and what's going on with that particular sign. So that's a good way to easily jump in and interact with those. And then on the right here, I can see I have my sign. I can also see the maintenance records over there as well. And I can drill down and see, oh, that failed inspection. So, and I can also see on the bottom here, the number of signs that I have that need attention. And let's turn off our filter. Let's just say all. Again, that takes me, and I easily know I have 3,072 signs in my inventory. So again, helpful information to have at our fingertips. It gives me access to all of those records quickly and easily. I can have them all. The big thing is having them all centralized within my GIS. That's the key, because I want to be using the same data, and I don't want to be doing manual exports and imports into my ArcGIS and things like that. Now, you may ask the question, is this a two-way street? Can I edit in ArcGIS and have that move over to SignOps? Not right now. Maybe something we consider in the future. Right now, this is just a one-way. You edit your information in SignOps, you push it to ArcGIS Online, and it shows up in your inventory that way. And you can use this in a lot of different ways. You have an ArcGIS Online layer here. You can also do this in ArcGIS Enterprise, same thing. The requirements to do that, what you might be asking yourself, hey, I'm a SignOps customer. How do I get my signs? What do I need to do to get these in my GIS? You need a user, a designated user that we would set up to make routine and regular updates. It would publish updates to your GIS. So that's all we would need is a designated user, whether that's in your ArcGIS Online or your ArcGIS Enterprise portal. Either one of those will do. So.